What's up everybody, this is Aaron, aka Garden Zaddy, and I want to show you my garden. The bulk of my garden is in containers, namely these earth boxes that work really well for me. We're at an interesting spot where it's almost winter, but stuff is still growing. First up, we've got 2 serrano plants here. These have produced really well for me over the course of the year. And then we've got 1 jalapeno. It's still fruiting, but it's kind of on its way out. A little ways over, we've got some Brussels sprouts and kale that are starting up, and then this massive chocolate habanero. This is being super productive and giving me the hottest peppers I've ever had. For reference, they're about 577,000 Scoville heat units. In front of them, we got this little green bean, and then this kind of empty container right now. There is a bell pepper back there, but it's pretty much empty. Next over are my eggplants. This is Black Beauty eggplant, and it's been a wonderful producer this year. It's kind of getting destroyed by some grasshoppers, but still kicking. Down a ways, we've got 3 fava beans. This is my first time growing these, and they are just a fascinating thing to grow, and probably the largest seeds you'll ever see. They love to split their stems so much that there's one even hiding under here, under the mulch cover. Next over, we've got 4 chocolate scotch bonnets and 2 purple opal basils. If you think that sounds like a lot for 1 container, you're right. It was a bit of an experiment, and it's producing, but not as well as I would like it to, so I will not be planting this heavily in this container going forward. But I've still gotten plenty of basil and plenty of peppers. Next over, we've got 2 tomato plants and a green onion in the front. These are both Berkeley tie-dyes, and it's pretty late in the year for tomatoes, but we're still getting some flower action. Might get a few tomatoes. A little ways over, we've got a similar kind of thing in the nightshade family. These are purple tomatillos, and these are absolutely delicious and grow super interestingly. They're kind of battling a disease right now, but still kicking. Similarly on the way out is 4 of these basil plants. They've just kind of produced a little too long and are going to be in a woody phase. They're still good. I'll probably get a couple more weeks of basil out of them. I'm plucking the buds off as I always do, but they're about done. In contrast, this is a couple things of Brussels sprouts that's absolutely thriving. These are looking wonderful. They're thriving. They're starting to show their first buds. It's very exciting. Behind them, we've got a lot of garlic and onion. This is good seed garlic from San Diego Seed Company. If I pop this over, you'll see the first little guy that's germinated right there. Super exciting there. This is yellow onion. Some squirrels have found their way in here, but we're starting some new ones, as you can see with those little seedlings right there. This is garlic from the store that I'm starting up. I started in August. It's now December, so I might have started a little bit early, but it's going. This is a butter popcorn plant. It's kind of an interesting novelty plant where if you rub the leaves, it smells like buttered popcorn. It's toxic to both people and dogs, so it's pretty much monofunctional. This is a new addition. This is a grow bag with 3 of those Black Beauty eggplants and some leftover green onions. This was mainly an example of how to fight off squirrels in an easier manner. Another experimental tomato. You can see some flowers in there. This is a cherry tomato. I think this is a rainbow cherry mixed tomato. We'll see what we can get out of this. Behind it is a bougainvillea. This is a very popular decorative plant in Southern California. You can see the colorful leaves right there. It used to be a little more colorful early in the season, but it's a great plant. This big towering thing right here is a goji berry. In front, we've got this container which has some endive. You can see that going well there. So well that someone else is trying to eat it. We've got some Great Lakes lettuce, nothing there yet, and then some wasabi arugula. This container has drip irrigation and kind of seeps over this way, so I stuck some leftover tomato seedlings in the ground in front of it. I don't anticipate them doing super well, but I love to experiment in the garden. The amount of peppers continues, but now these are the only non-spicy guys I'm growing. I've got some standard issue green bell peppers. I've got 4 in this container and 1 right here. These have been a wonderful producer this season, and they're still going. Another new bed right here. We've got 3 marigolds that are doing absolutely wonderful, and 3 varieties of kale. You may notice it's spaced pretty irresponsibly. That's because this kept getting bodied by squirrels, and so I was doing an experiment to see if it would live, and it did, so we're gonna be thinning this out pretty soon. In a similar container is a whole bunch of cilantro, and I'm so excited this is doing as well as it is, because I love cilantro, but it just doesn't like growing in the summer around here. A little ways over, we've got a whole ton more peppers. These are Caribbean red habaneros. They're kind of sweeter than orange habaneros, super delicious. You can tell they haven't quite ripened yet, but there are tons and tons of fruit on the plant. This is my favorite right here. This is orange habanero. It's kind of in an interesting phase where there's a couple peppers on the plant, but I think it needs some real love. Behind it is my least favorite pepper plant I have, the Thai chilies. They're delicious, they're super spicy, but they produce too much. Harvesting this thing takes hours and processing them takes even more hours. Behind that, we've got 3 dragon fruit seedlings. 2 of them are white, 1 of red. I keep procrastinating on putting these in bigger pots, but they keep doing well somehow. On my experimentation table, we've got some wild allocation from my garden that I've pulled out. We've got 2 nasturtiums and a nice little set of seedlings of Swiss chard. The in-ground portion of my garden started kind of as an experiment because I wasn't sure how long I'd be living here, but I just threw extra seedlings I had, and some of it's done pretty well. Here we've got more marigolds and a whole mess of different habaneros. Half of these are orange habaneros, half of them are Caribbean red habaneros. Both delicious. You can see some fruits coming in here. Not ripe yet, but will be wonderful. Moving a little ways over, there's some stuff that's kind of headed out. This was an excess of purple tomatillo seedlings that I just stuck in one place, and somehow they all germinated, so that is what it is. This was formerly a little basil seedling and some cantaloupe that needs to be torn out. I'm not going to touch the vines too much because they are really prickly. You can see the cantaloupe that tried. Then we've got some more purple tomatillos. These were an interesting experiment because they were getting destroyed, so I cut right above some healthy green growth. So they're going, I guess you could say. Then we've got another set of failing sweet peppers. These are Jimmy Nardells, however you want to say it. They're an unspicy pepper. I honestly don't think I'll be growing them again. They just kind of taste like bell peppers, but are much less productive. Here we've got a mixture of greens. You can see this right here. This is Swiss chard coming in. There's some clover here that's just coming in here organically. It doesn't really bug me. I'll probably pluck it out here and there. Moving a little ways up, we've got 2 tomato plants. This is a San Marzano. This is currently the only full tomato in my garden right now. And then we've got black truffle. I'm just trying to see how long these will last. Behind it though is a point of excitement. All those little green stems are arugula. These were arugula plants that earlier in the season I stuck out here and they went to seed, and now that it's finally their season, they're coming in. I had a little bit of drip irrigation set up over here, so I stuck some leftover seedlings here as well. These are 2 tomatoes, 2 green beans, whole lot of fun. I similarly set up an experiment earlier in the year where I tried to have 3 pepper plants on 1 watering stake that was right here. When I installed my drip irrigation, I just stuck them on drip irrigation as well, and they're doing okay, but not nearly as wonderful as my other pepper plants. This is a Serrano, this is a Serrano, and then this is a chocolate scotch bonnet. Then lastly, I've got my germination station. We've got about 12 different peppers that are starting here, as well as some purple basil, parsley, tomatillos, and a whole lot else. So despite the stuff outside that's going out, there's a whole ton that's about to go in. So that's everything I've got going in the garden right now. Please subscribe and comment what you want to see next.